why some immigrants are saying, see you later to Canada. Canada, eh? Land of maple syrup, universal healthcare, and a surprising number of immigrants packing their bags and leaving. That's right, folks. While Canada boasts about its welcoming immigration policies, a growing number of newcomers are finding life in the Great White North not so peachy after all. Now, you might be thinking, why on earth would anyone leave Canada? It's like the well-mannered, less problematic sibling of the United States. And you wouldn't be entirely wrong, but as with all things in life, the situation is a tad more nuanced than that. From struggling to find jobs that match their qualifications to battling exorbitant housing costs and even the occasional polar vortex, some immigrants are finding the Canadian dream more like a Canadian daydream. So grab your Tim Hortons, or maybe a double-double if you're feeling adventurous, get comfy, and stick around as we delve into the top reasons why some immigrants are swapping their toques for warmer climates and saying, see you later to Canada. Trust me, it's about to get interesting. You arrive in Canada, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, with your shiny new degree and a heart full of hope. You're ready to conquer the Canadian job market. But then reality hits you harder than a rogue snowball in January. Many skilled immigrants find themselves trapped in a paradox. They can't get a job without Canadian experience. It's like a cruel maple syrup-coated catch-22. Employers prioritize local experience, which translates to, do you know how to apologize profusely? Then you're hired. This emphasis on Canadian experience can be incredibly disheartening for newcomers. It's like bringing a perfectly good hockey stick to a curling match. The result? Highly skilled immigrants take on survival jobs, working as baristas or Uber drivers. Their hard-earned degrees gather dust faster than a box of Timbits at a hockey game. This underutilization of talent impacts both immigrants and Canada. It's like having a moose on your roof and refusing to train it to shovel snow. Let's be real. Living in a major Canadian city is like dating a charming but financially irresponsible moose. You love their company, but their spending habits are questionable at best. From Vancouver's sky-high housing prices that would make even a real estate tycoon blush to Toronto's rent that seems to increase with the speed of a runaway beaver, the cost of living in Canadian cities can be enough to make even the most seasoned budgeter break into a cold sweat. Imagine, if you will, paying an exorbitant amount of money for a tiny apartment that's smaller than a hockey penalty box. And don't even get me started on the price of groceries. A simple carton of milk? That'll be your left kidney, please. A loaf of bread? Only if you're willing to part with your firstborn child. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating a tad, but you get the point. The high cost of living, particularly in major urban centres, puts immense pressure on newcomers, especially those who are still trying to establish themselves financially. It's like trying to skate uphill with a backpack full of poutine doable but incredibly challenging. For those who came to Canada hoping for a better life, the financial strain can be overwhelming, making them question whether the trade-off is truly worth it. They might start to feel like they're stuck in a never-ending game of financial hockey where the puck is their dwindling bank account and the opposing team is the ever-increasing cost of living. Chapter 3, Navigating the Immigration Maze. A journey more complicated than a hockey fight. The Canadian immigration system, a labyrinthine process so complex it would make even a seasoned Sudoku solver tear their hair out in frustration. It's a system that's often described as slow, confusing, and about as much fun as being chased by a pack of rabid beavers. From endless paperwork and confusing eligibility criteria to lengthy processing times that would make a glacier seem impatient, navigating the immigration system can be a daunting and stressful experience for newcomers. Imagine spending months, even years, gathering documents, attending interviews, and anxiously awaiting decisions, only to have your application rejected on a technicality. It's enough to make you want to pack your bags, grab your toque, and hop on the next flight to a country with a slightly less complicated immigration process, like maybe Antarctica. The complexity and unpredictability of the immigration process can create a sense of uncertainty and instability, making it difficult for immigrants to plan for the future or feel truly settled in their new home. It's like trying to build a snowman on a moving glacier, challenging to say the least. Chapter 4, The Isolation Blues. When being polite feels a lot like being ignored. Canada prides itself on its multiculturalism and welcoming attitude. And while it's true that Canadians are generally a friendly bunch, breaking into established social circles can be as difficult as trying to teach a beaver to play the bagpipes. Many immigrants experience a sense of loneliness and isolation as they struggle to connect with people outside their cultural communities. It's like being at a potluck where everyone brought poutine and you're the only one with a samosa. The emphasis on politeness, while well-intentioned, can sometimes create a barrier to forming deeper connections. It's like everyone's stuck in a perpetual game of Canadian standoff where nobody wants to make the first move, leaving everyone feeling a little bit lonely and a lot bit awkward. This lack of social integration can be particularly challenging for newcomers who are trying to adapt to a new culture and build a sense of belonging. Imagine moving to a new country and feeling like you're constantly on the outside looking in, like a ghost haunting a hockey arena. You can see the excitement, hear the cheers, but you can't quite seem to join the game. Chapter 5. Winter is coming, bracing for the polar vortex and other weather woes. Let's talk about the weather, shall we? Because let's face it, in Canada, the weather is basically a national pastime. It's what you talk about when you're not apologizing for things or politely queuing for something. Now, for those who hail from warmer climates, experiencing a Canadian winter for the first time is like jumping into a frozen lake wearing nothing but a swimsuit and a smile. In other words, it's a shock to the system. The long, dark winters with temperatures that would make a penguin shiver can be a major adjustment, especially for those who are used to basking in the sun's warm embrace. And let's not forget about the snow. So much snow. It's like Mother Nature decided to host a never-ending snowball fight, and everyone's invited, whether they like it or not. While some might find the snow charming at first, the novelty quickly wears off when you're battling icy sidewalks, digging your car out from under a mountain of snowdrifts, and praying that your heating bill won't bankrupt you. For some immigrants, the extreme weather conditions can be a major deterrent, impacting their physical and mental well-being and making them long for the sunny skies of their home countries. Outro. So, is Canada really the promised land? Well, folks, there you have it. The good, the bad, and the downright chilly reality of why some immigrants are choosing to leave Canada. It's a complex issue with no easy answers, kind of like trying to explain the rules of curling to someone who's never seen ice before. But hey, this isn't about bashing Canada. It's about shedding light on the challenges that many newcomers face and starting a conversation about how to create a more inclusive and supportive environment for everyone. After all, a country is only as strong as its ability to welcome and integrate those who choose to call it home. So, what are your thoughts? Have you or someone you know experienced similar challenges as an immigrant in Canada? Share your stories, your frustrations, your triumphs in the comments below. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button for more insightful and hopefully slightly humorous takes on the world around us.